One of the original spin-off ideas for Doctor Who when it came back in 2005, after Billie Piper's departure at the end of Series 2, was Rose Tyler Earth Defense. For whatever reason, Russell T Davies was not able to get that series off the ground proper, but when Russell T Davies brought Rose Tyler back in Series 4, it was implied she'd had a bit of a history in this alternative dimension in Pete's world when she was hunting for the Doctor and hunting for Donna because the stars were going out. Big Finish have capitalised on this gap with Rose Tyler The Dimension Canon. We had a box set with 4 stories released back in September 2019, which starred Billie Piper, Camille Cudjouri, Sean Dingwall, and Mark Benton. And Mark Benton, if you remember, was Clive from Rose from the first episode of the revival, as the guy in the shed who was obsessively following the activity of the Doctor. So this box set, I listened to this the other day because I wanted to make sure that I went into the brand new box set, Dimension Canon 2, Other Worlds, fully caught up with the intense lore of Pete's world, but I'm actually quite glad I did. The Endless Night by Jonathan Morris, the very first story, is genuinely very good, with a killer ending. The rest is pretty good. So the premise of the Dimension Canon series is that it's before the events of Series 4, where they know that something is going wrong and that the fabric of the universes are breaking down and that the gaps between dimensions are narrowing, so they're able to use the Dimension Canon in order to punch a hole between these dimensions and allow 1 or 2 people at a time to go into these different dimensions in order to try and track down the Doctor to stop the stars from going out. However, every single world that Rose and whoever joins her on the adventure, whether it's her mum, her dad from the other dimension, or in some cases, Clive, every single dimension that they go to is dealing with its own apocalyptic event. In the Endless Night, in the first one, the sun goes out. In the Flood, it has been raining for decades and everything's flooding. In Ghost Machines, you're dealing with an alternative future where Pete Tyler's got a business where people are able to upload their consciousness to machines after death. In The Last Party, they know that it's the end of the world in a few days, so the Powerless State is having a massive party that Rose Tyler and her mum end up crashing. So basically, it is a really good episodic pitch in order to tell more stories in the Doctor Who universe, but each one has to have an apocalyptic ending. So it's surprisingly quite dark and morbid, but it's a very good vessel for drama, because when you have to go to these alternate dimensions, you have like different amounts of time that they can spend in these places, because in some cases they've got like 2 days, in some cases they've got 12 hours, etc. And they meet alternate versions of themselves. They meet a different Pete Tyler, they meet a different Jackie Tyler, or a different Clive, or Clive's family, because in this one it's a Clive from a different universe who never got married and had kids, but is still obsessed with conspiracy theories and stuff. Basically, that's the pitch. Bubble Shock spin-off one. There has been no Bubble Shock reference, surprisingly. There has been no like tonic water. There has been no extensive trust me on this meme. But still, this was actually a surprisingly good box set that I'm quite glad I was able to get on sale when they had a 10th Doctor Adventures sale on recently at Big Finish. So it's a good thing I did, because the Dimension Canon 2, Other Worlds, does nothing to actually fill the audience in on the status quo of this series. This is very much a continuation from the last one. They don't even say where the Clive of this universe came from that joins her on these adventures. We also just have 3 stories instead of 4. However, the second one, Now Is the New Dark, is like an hour-long story. The rest are around 45 to 50 minutes long. So we've got a trilogy of stories. We've got Saltwater by Alison Winter. They've got Now Is the New Dark by A.K. Benedict, and The Rogue Planet by Emily Cook. Emily Cook is also the producer of this new box set. Emily Cook, you may remember, former editor of Doctor Who magazine, and she also helped organise the Doctor Who lockdown events that took place during the COVID-19 pandemic that basically introduced Russell T Davies and David Tennant back into the Doctor Who universe, and may have been what prompted them to return for the 60th anniversary and beyond. So thank you, Emily, and thank you for this box set as well. I thought it was really good. So yeah, we'll start from the beginning with Saltwater. So Rose goes to a different universe where some sort of extraterrestrial entity from space is stealing all of the salt from the water in frequent intervals thousands of tons of salt get just taken away from the water, taken away across space, and it is causing disruption not only to the oceans because it's causing ships to lose buoyancy and then they sink, all of the countries of the world and their leaders pointing fingers at each other, and it could start a brand new war. So it's a good political thriller, and it's a decent premise for a Doctor Who story that would not happen if the Doctor was in those universes, because remember, Rose Tyler is visiting these places in search of the Doctor. And she goes to these different places and she finds that her parents used to be resistance fighters in this universe who were killed by a shadowy government organisation. She goes to pay respect at their graves in a burnt down house where they were killed in a fire, in an arson attack, and meets a reverend who wants to help her. Let's play a clip from Saltwater.
I heard good things. I mean, they fought for the truth, didn't they?
They did. And they're not the only ones. You should know you're welcome here. You're safe here.
Is that what you told them?
They took their risks, as all of us have.
What, are you like some kind of resistance?
It was nice meeting you, Rose. Remember, if you don't have anywhere else to go after dark, we can accommodate you.
Wait, please. Tell me about the aliens.
Aliens?
It was in a video. Pete Tyler said something about aliens. I mean, I'm not into little green men or anything.
Well, you never know. Pete believed our government had intelligence on alien life, and that some of the events here on Earth can be attributed to extraterrestrial influence.
Finally.
And of course, if we can blame an external influence, then the world's leaders will have to stop blaming each other and stand down. No one would believe him, though.
But if it was just some crackpot theory, why kill him? Why kill my Jackie?
He had many theories. Some were more believable. Nevertheless, we have strict laws around unauthorized broadcasts of any kind.
Hold on, world leaders stand down from what?
My dear, from the missile crisis.
There's a missile crisis.
Where in the world have you been that you don't know that? Not noticed the empty streets? Most people have left, if they can, gone to the country. It's why I offered you the shelter.
After dark.
For those asking in the chat, this series takes place before the events of Turn Left, before they found Donna Noble, after Rose was abandoned in that parallel world, in Pete's world, after the events of Doomsday. This all leads up to the events of Turn Left because they know that there's something happening to the fabric of reality and they're trying to find the Doctor through all these dimensions. That's the of these box sets. So yeah, so Saltwater's good. It's interesting because this one actually has a bit more of an optimistic view of all of these dystopian worlds that Rose and Clive and her mum and dad end up visiting, because they actually have a scientist as a prime minister who takes a very much more logical approach to the issue at hand. But because you've got all of these countries and these world leaders and these militaries that are posturing, it means that they're sort of railroaded into a much more regressive form of thinking. It was a very thought-provoking and very smart opener to the box set that I appreciated as well. I think that as well, because the science, the idea of some sort of extraterrestrial force just taking thousands of tons of salt from our waters unprompted, and we have no way to communicate with them. We don't know if they're good aliens or bad aliens. We don't even know if this is an accident or something that they're deliberately doing, or if they are trying to take it as a resource or anything in between. It's a really good mystery political thriller, and I think it's a strong opener to the box set. I think that Alison Winter does a good job at making everything feel grounded, making this feel like this is how actual governments would respond. It's a little bit like the Children of Earth, except not nearly as grim, where it's like, okay, what are the actual procedures if something like this happens in the real world? Because it's, for all intents and purposes, it's much closer to our world than it is the Doctor Who world, because there is no doctor there who's able to help them out in these scenarios. It was a good opener to the box set. But I will say it is eclipsed slightly by a much more interesting follow-up. We've got Now is the New Dark by A.K. Benedict, because one reason why this is such a unique story in all of the Dimension Canon stories that we've had so far is because it takes place in such a drastically different version of Earth, because these are alternate parallel realities where the progress of human history or the progress of people's personal lives have taken a massive shift somewhere, and that's what's made them parallel. In this case, Now is the New Dark, humanity never learnt germ theory. So they are basically, technologically speaking and medically speaking, still in the Dark Ages, where the original origins of medicine was that all of humanity could be put in 4 different categories. They're humours. So if you are a melancholic humour, you need a different sort of treatment. You may need leeches in order to help you with some sort of illness, etc. This is what happened before we learnt germ theory. It's sort of like more Tudor times, more Dark Ages. But that is the world that Rose and Clive have found themselves in Now Is the New Dark. However, what's interesting about this alternate version of Earth is that there may actually be a doctor there. There is a character who seems to be running the show here, where we've got the Assessor, played by Victoria Jeffrey, this really authoritarian character. However, Jackie is working as the Assessor's assistant and is able to fill Rose Tyler in on the history of this world and also this mysterious new doctor who she's going to meet the next day. Let's play a clip from Now Is the New Dark.
You'll be more comfy in my office till it's your turn.
Cosy.
No more than a cupboard, really, but there's a fire. Cuppa,
Please.
have a seat. The seat. Tell me, and you can tell me the truth. Who are you really?
Why?
Strange clothes, weird behaviour, and you both have no idea of the world. Clearly alien. The doctor told me all about them.
You know the doctor?
Me and the doctor? Thick as thieves. Peas in a pod. Close as stone and cheese.
Stone and cheese.
You know, a cheese press. You can't get much more intimate than that without... Well, never mind. You've never heard that before, have you? You're really not from here. The doctor is going to love you. He's always saying we need to show that everyone's different and should be accepted.
That does sound like him. What's he look like?
About 6'1", darkish hair, darkish eyes.
Yes.
Leaps around like a sexy jester.
Yes.
Until he gets angry, and then you don't want to be in his way.
And again. Okay, look, I need to be sure. What else do you know about him?
He just sort of turned up one day, with a grin on his face, and a coat that never seems to get dirty.
Maybe it is him. Actually him, the doctor. My doctor, here.
These must be really difficult box sets to try and do, because I just realised while playing that clip and how similar it was to the clip in Saltwater, where you've got a character who's like, oh, you're really not from here, are you? Like, you don't know what's going on here. And you don't get the sense when binge listening these box sets and these stories that this is a very... Like, it could be a really repetitive format where they land in a brand new world and they have to try and establish themselves with alternate versions of Jackie and Pete and Clive and things like that. It doesn't feel repetitive, and I think that's a real triumph of the writing, how they are basically following a very similar episodic format, serialized format, but they're still able to make it feel fresh and feel new, and that is mainly because of the settings and the threats there as well. I think Now Is the New Dark was really interesting because it's also a crime thriller. It's also a murder mystery in the vein of Jack the Ripper, because there's someone called the Shadow who is out there killing people of the melancholic personality type, and the Assessor has her eyes fixed squarely on Clive as being the person who has committed the murders, even though him and Rose have only just arrived there. Mark Benton is so good in these box sets. He's like the unsung hero MVP of these stories. He's so good. He's so good. He's so grounded, so genuinely charismatic and funny. He's sardonic and sarcastic in the face of the Assessor. And when asked, like, oh, are you melancholic? He's like, no. Yes. Are you a negative person? No. I mean, yeah, I don't know what I am. He's trying to, like, outwit this person who's got a really simplistic framework, and he's still into his conspiracies, he's still into his UFOs and little green men and blue boxes and TARDIS and stuff like that. Mark Benton's so good in these box sets, and this is one of his best stories out of the Dimension canon range so far. The murder mystery is genuinely compelling. I won't spoil what the outcome of this mysterious Doctor character is, but it's really very clever, really good. I think A.K. Benedict, I think she did a really terrific job with Now Is the New Dark. This box set, as it goes along, gets better as it goes, culminating in The Rogue Planet by Emily Cook. which is a terrific story and one of my favourite Doctor Who Big Finish stories of the year so far. The Rogue Planet is basically the series finale for the Dimension canon set. They have a third one that's coming out in the near future. We'll touch on that shortly, but this does feel like a finale. Rose and Jackie Tyler find themselves in an alternative Earth where basically Doomsday is coming fast. And Jackie, in this alternative version, is a TV personality, is a hit on daytime TV. Clive is a famous university professor, university lecturer. And Rose is also in this alternative life. She is Rosie Tyler with a daughter, whose father was killed in a hit-and-run car crash accident, because that seems to be the dominant theme of the Tyler family when it comes to how you kill them off in these alternative universes. A pretty sober and somber callback to Father's Day. But The Rogue Planet is an apocalyptic story where Rose Tyler has to try and consider what she would do to save Rosie Tyler and the child that she never had, and whether or not Jackie Tyler of her universe is actually a bit jealous of the life that her daughter got, because she starts her own business, she starts her own cafe, she's got a child, which is something that Jackie always wanted from Rose. And there's I think what Billie Piper does in this story as well is so like exceptionally clever as a performer, because Rosie Tyler goes to university, she's got a different accent, but it's still recognizably Rose Tyler. And there's a scene where the Jackie Tyler from Pete's world, or from the normal universe, shall we say, has a sit down with Rosie Tyler in the cafe, and Rosie lets Jackie know really what she thinks of her. Let's play a clip from The Rogue Planet.
The tea's over there. If it's cold, I'm not making you more.
Oh, cold it is. Can I talk to you?
Oh, you got 5 minutes. This better be good.
You might want to sit down.
Why?
Well,
If you're here to say you're sorry, I'm not ready for an apology.
I've done something to upset you.
You have no idea, do you?
I...
The day my cafe opened. You remember that? No, because you weren't there. You were busy. What about the day your grandchild was born? Your first, possibly only grandchild. Were you there? No, you were in the Caribbean.
Listen, sweetheart.
Don't sweetheart me. I have every right to be angry. It's the same excuses again and again, ever since you ran off to that fancy new job with your fancy new man.
Hey, it's Jackie Prentice. Oh, well, I've got her hair done like you.
Oh, good for her.
Oh, can you sign this napkin?
No autographs, thank you.
Oh, quick photo then, come on.
I'd rather not. I haven't got my face on today.
This is the price of fame, Jackie Prentice. And don't pretend you don't love it.
My wife's not gonna believe this.
Always about you, isn't it?
That's enough of your sass, madam. There's been a misunderstanding. I'm not the best person to explain, but I'll try.
Someone in the chat earlier mentioned that the music in one of the clips sounded like the Force theme from Star Wars. Whenever they do that scene transition, it sounds so much like I Am the Doctor, that motif from Murray Gold from Doctor Who Series 5 to Series 7. If there's one thing I can criticise this Dimension canon set for, is that they have not done, to my knowledge, any more music from the first box set. They only have like a 10-minute music selection, because they have the full music suite on the first box set. So yeah, they are repeating a lot of music here, and they really needed to sort out. Natalie Sammer, that sounded like I'm the Doctor. It does sound like I'm the Doctor. That is just like the scene transition music, and they really need another one. I hope they do a different one for the third box set. Either way, The Rogue Planet is a captivating drama. It's a really great domestic drama. It's something that feels like came straight from the pen of Russell T Davies. And in the interviews afterwards, the making of, Camille Cajuri and Billie Piper are saying that they don't really understand too much of the sci-fi stuff, but they really appreciated being able to do the like EastEnders style soap opera domestic drama. And that's not a criticism when I say like EastEnders style drama. It is just the normal, ordinary lives of a family in conflict, where you've got a mother, Jackie in this case, who has pursued a career on daytime TV, and she has abandoned the family that she originally held so close. You've got Rosie Tyler, who started up a business, who's got a baby son, however the dad's no longer around because he died in a car accident, all that sort of stuff that just makes for effective grounded family drama. And Emily Cook does such a great job really honing in on the strengths of those characters, where we originally met them in series 1 with Rose and Aliens of London, and you know how in Aliens of London the grounded scenario in that alien story is that Rose Tyler was reported as a missing person for 12 months. Like, that's effective drama that's sort of seeping into the sci-fi world of the show, and it was a really good approach for Rose Tyler and Jackie back in 2005, and it hasn't aged. It still works in 2022. And that's what I really appreciated about these Dimension canon stories, where you do have these alternative realities and these alternative characters and these versions of Jackie, Rose, Pete, and Clive, and how they respond to them, and how it really messes with their brains to an extent, especially Jackie in this story as well. There's a great story in the first box set where Clive, who is from a universe where he didn't marry, he didn't have kids, but he was still into conspiracy theories, he meets the wife that was originally in Rose, who had the short appearance in that episode. The actress reprises her role in that. And does he stay in that world that is doomed to die, but you know, he'll still have the life that he always wanted with the woman he was always meant to be with? It's some really good drama. If you think of this as just like, here is what happened before the events of Turn Left, it is a narrative that is sort of jogging in place. It is Rose trying to find the Doctor. There's a few breadcrumbs of this Donna Noble character, whoever on earth she is. She can't be important, but whatever. So it's a narrative that's kind of running in place in this episodic serialized format that is quite repeatable and easily repeatable as well, but it's mined so well for the human drama. Jessica and Squirmaster, Dad, it's one of your nutters. That's such a good scene. Thomas Ray, has Emily Cook written many Doctor Who stories? To my knowledge, this is her Big Finish debut, but I think she did some stuff for Doctor Who Lockdown, and she was an editor of Doctor Who magazine as well. But either way, she's done a really good job with this box set. There is a ending to the Rogue Planet in a sort of I can't believe they ended it there type cliffhanger. Oh my god, what is going to happen next? And we're going to get the conclusion to that in the Dimension Canon Volume 3 Trapped, which comes out in September 2023, which I'll definitely be checking out, because the ending of the Rogue Planet it's ballsy. It is ballsy, and I cannot wait to see what they do with it. Overall, I think the first box set is stronger, mainly because it does have that first story, The Endless Night, which is incredibly dramatically powerful, with a killer ending and stellar performances. This box set also has Sean Dingwall. This one does not. You do miss the presence of Pete Tyler in this box set. He's such a great middleman. He's a great counterpoint to Rose and Jackie. And also, the first volume has 4 stories, and this one has 3, which I'm not going to hold it, I'm not going to hold against this box set personally. But this box set gets stronger the further along it goes, culminating in a genuinely shocker ending that I can't wait to see resolved in Volume 3, which comes out next September. I think if you don't have any patience for Rose Tyler, then you don't need to check out these sets. If you do not like Rose Tyler, or if you have less than 0 interest in the events that took place in Pete's world before the events of Turn Left, it's a safe skip. But if you're curious about, that sort of extra dimension or the extra lore, or if you do really like Rose Tyler and Jackie, or if you want to know what Clive's further adventures could have been if he wasn't killed in Rose, then I think this is actually a pretty safe recommendation. I do recommend listening to part 1 first though, but it has gone up to its normal RRP. If this is on sale, I do recommend this. And if you like it, continue on the story, because it does continue into some really good places. But in terms of just this box set on its own, I do recommend it. I liked this quite a lot, and this is coming from somebody who was not a big fan of Rose. I like the self-awareness, because in one story, what was it? Was it The Flood? I can't remember. It's one of these stories where she ends up meeting a male version of herself. What's his name? Rob Tyler, played by Joe Jameson. And before she knows that this is a gender-swapped version of herself, she's got a crush on him, because of course she's so vain and self-absorbed that she'd have a crush on herself. And the box set is self-aware enough to point that out and laugh. And any box set with that sort of self-awareness knows what it's doing. I massively commend Emily Cook on what appears to be like her debut producer box set for Big Finish, and I really cannot wait to see what she does next. I think she's also, yeah, she's doing some stuff for Rani and Unit as well. This might not be her first one, I can't remember exactly, but either way, she's had a really strong debut with Big Finish this year, and I really look forward to seeing what she does next. Oh, I'm very tempted. Yeah, it's cool. I wasn't surprising. I wasn't expecting it to be so good. So excited for that Rani set. Yeah, that's what. Who is producing that? Cast, backstage, credits. Oh, so Emily Cook is producing this as well. Oh, she's keeping busy. Does she produce the Unit ones with Brigadier Bambera? These are like one of the only Big Finish sets that I didn't get this year. You have to pick. Yeah, she's producing this. Yeah, she's keeping busy. She's doing well. Already have the first one that's just gone off my list. Oh yeah, I will warn you though, the Dimension Canon set, it peaks early. Like that first story, The Endless Night, is so like good. Like by the end of the story, I had a lump in my throat, and the rest of the box set couldn't quite match it. But you know, if the critique of the box set is that only like one story's a 10 out of 10 and the rest are really, really good, that's a pretty damn good box set. So this was, I believe, the last Doctor Who box set of October 2022. Actually, was the Kaleidoscope? Oh no, sorry, there's one more, sorry. So hopefully next Monday I will review Kaleidoscope, which is a bloody 7-parter. You're not making it easy for me, Big Finish. And then after that, we've got this 8th Doctor set with the Daleks, What Lies Inside, and then I'm all caught up with Big Finish, and maybe we'll talk about Redacted. But wait a second, we've got the 7th Doctor and 9th Doctor adventures next month as well. Oh dear, what have we got in December? We've got The War Doctor Begins, He Who Fights Monsters, the 8th Doctor Connections, The War Master Escape from Reality. Okay, so 3 more box sets that I'm going to be pre-ordering for December. Like, I've got to pick my battles. I'm just not fussed about Unit. I'm sorry, I'm just not yet.